So again, my name is Rich Donnellan. I'm with eVestment. eVestment is the premier provider of data and analytics to the institutional investment marketplace. Our consultants are, or our clients, excuse me, are consultants, investors, and asset managers. And they use our data and our insights to make more informed decisions about the funds that they're investing in. And the asset managers use our data and insights to get in front of more consultants and investors as their potential clients. We were founded in 2000, so we're 18 years into this thing. And as of October of last year, we were acquired by NASDAQ. So NASDAQ is more than just a stock market. They are a software and data company. And this is our team. We got to ring the closing bell on the NASDAQ stock market, I think in December, which was pretty awesome. And we're excited about the opportunity to be part of this bigger family. NASDAQ sees us as a driver of growth for this larger organization. So we're really excited about leveraging the scale and the expertise that NASDAQ brings. My role was mentioned as strategic alignment. So I'm not a client success manager. I don't work on the client success team. Our team, most of which are sitting right here, we look at client success as more than just an organization. It's a mindset, or really a philosophy that everyone across the whole company needs. And it's a discipline where there's a set of frameworks that show how you can execute this. And yes, it's an organization of people, which our team was responsible for getting up and running. And actually, client success management is kind of new as a formal organization within eVestment as of late last year. And the client experience became a big focus for us at the beginning of 2015. And the reason is we serve a finite marketplace. Our growth is based on our ability to grow our relationships with existing clients. We sell more to existing clients than we do net new logos. The market is small, and so those clients need to have a good experience and need to be successful if we're going to be successful, both in our partnership with them. So this book was our Bible. You've probably heard the term outside in 1,000 times over the last day. I understand, but this became our Bible for the processes and frameworks that we put in place. And when we talk about the maturity curve, or the maturity model, it's the one from the book, where the path to maturity is about improving the client experience, which I kind of think of as incremental improvements, to transforming it and really accelerating those improvements. And ultimately, it becomes a sustainable discipline that doesn't need to even be thought about. It's just the way you do business in your organization. So I want to talk about how we've kind of made progress along this maturity model. And the first thing we did is said, all right, to improve, we need to know where we are. We have to understand what the current experience looks like. And as a data company, we're like, all right, cool, let's jump into our data. Let's see what the client journey is like. It was a mess. It's embarrassing. I was probably a lot of the problem there, but it was all over the place. We had all of the data that we needed, but it wasn't accessible. There was no single source of the truth that we could access. So that was kind of the foundation that we had to fix first. I'm going to talk about what we did there. When we did have the data in place, we started looking at surveys within that data, and clients were telling us the experience with eVestment isn't personal. So we need to figure out how we could personalize at scale the experience of our clients. And lastly, it probably seems like an inside-out mindset. But clients said, it's really hard to buy from you. We were in a fortunate position where they wanted all the other things we had to offer, and we were getting in our own way about making that happen. So we spent 2 years kind of redoing the way we sell and the whole buying process journey. So step one, figuring out the data. We had to turn the data into insights. And we looked at the client in the middle. So we have all these sources of data, what they're telling us in surveys, how they're interacting with us on our support team, all of the interactions that we have logged with them in Salesforce, usage data. Our business, we actually collect data, or they provide data on themselves, so we're very fortunate to have data about the state of their business. We had all these sources of data, but they were all over the place. And then we had data that we didn't know about, that we needed to figure out, is this even valuable? So this was a long exercise. And what we figured out is we needed to put it all in a single place. And for us, that became a data warehouse, which is just a series of SQL databases that is the central repository for all the information about our clients and the client experience. So now we have it in this single place, and we push it out to the systems that everyone in the organization is using. And for the client success team specifically, to Tango and Salesforce, and then those talk to each other as well. So I kind of compare what we've done to taking a foreign language, or what is a foreign language to us at the top. We're translating it into English words in the data warehouse. But then we've got to push it out to these systems to make those words into sentences that actually mean something to us and that we can do something about. So this was a long process, but this was the foundation to everything we're going to do going forward. And it also allowed us to measure the impact now that we knew what the current state was. So part 2, how do we design an experience that's personal at scale? Our team is focused on ensuring that everything we do can be standardized, automated, and is scalable. And so that probably sounds like the opposite of personalized. So in order to do that, we had to figure out, who are we serving? Who are our clients? Who are our key segments? And why do those key segments buy from us? Because we can't be everything to everyone. And then we needed to understand kind of the journey, the buying journey for each of those segments. And we went through an exercise mapping out that journey, and it was pretty archaic. We had the marketing team generating leads, and we did a really good job. Again, we were a very successful business, but we needed to take it to the next level. They were then throwing those over to the wall to the sales team. And the sales team would come in, sales guy would come in, do a demo, say, client, what are you trying to solve? And say, I'm here, I want to solve problem A. And we'd show them how to solve problem A and B and C and D all the way through Z. And we were confusing them. And then we were fortunate that somehow they chose to buy. And we were repeating the process all over again. Sales team was throwing that over the wall to the client success or client service organization who was going in, saying, why did you buy? How do you want to be trained up on the system? And the client's probably thinking, well, I told you before, but they'd repeat it. I'm here to solve problem A. And we'd show them how to do A, B, C, D, E, and Z. And I think we were actually just talking at them more than actually training them. So we needed to define a more elegant journey there. But it started with understanding who we're defining this journey for. I mentioned our key client segments before, consultants, investors, and asset managers. Each of them use the system differently. And so we had to understand a short list of reasons about what they're trying to get out of the system, or what we call our success drivers, you probably know as use cases. So we had to look at our client base as kind of key segments and understand they all act differently. They need to be treated differently, the journey needs to be different, and measuring success has to be different. And this is actually where Tatango came in. So we implemented Tatango in May of last year, and we've really leveraged segmentation. So we have our 3 main client types, consultants, asset managers, investors. They use the same products, but just in different ways. So we've created health profiles that identify how we would expect them to use it and what success is defined for that key segment. It's then allowed us to take it a step further and look at where they are in their journey. We can look at asset managers in the onboarding phase and understand what's success like to them. Where are they in this phase? So it's allowed us to standardize that and scale it to the rest of the organization. And then we needed to define these use cases. Why did these people buy? We wanted to make sure we were talking to the right people, the right segments, about the right thing. Our system is very powerful. It's also very complicated. It can do a lot of things, but we need to understand, by and large, why do these client types buy? And then, much broader than just the client success organization, make sure everyone in the organization was speaking the same language. So we call these our success drivers. But what we've ensured here is that marketing is marketing to clients leveraging these success drivers, speaking to clients about what they value. Sales is then picking that up because clients are self-identifying up front. Here's the list of 10 things eVestment can do. I want 1, 2, and 3, and sales is demoing those. Success automation is something we didn't have before, so we're leveraging campaigns in Tatango to get you into the system and up to speed faster, but we're targeting you based on who you are and what you're defining as success. Our product strategy group is using these use cases or these success drivers to define how they build our products, how our solutions integrate, and how they can target those to those key client segments. Client service team is up to speed on why our clients are buying. CSMs, I mentioned, is a new organization. They're here kind of quarterbacking this whole thing, ensuring that we're talking to you about the right thing up front. You're self-identifying what you're trying to get out of eVestment, and we're ensuring that that happens and that we can measure success on those things. And lastly, through this whole process, we actually identified clients wanted more. They wanted an eVestment expert to come in, so we created a team of professional services to provide kind of post-onboarding service as well. But what we've done here just goes beyond the client success organization. So if you're in a client success role, you need to make sure that everyone else in the organization is speaking the same language as you. Otherwise, you're stuck in a silo. And lastly, we needed to simplify the buying experience. This sounds inside out. We needed to kind of figure out how to make more money and change the way we price our products. But it was based on what clients told us, is that it was complicated. And this slide doesn't do it justice. It's an attempt to show that there were so many factors that came into play when we were creating a price for our clients that we couldn't even do it, let alone allowing them to self-serve through an admin tool, say I want to buy a user, I want to add this product. The logic was too complicated to even implement. So we brought in a consultant here. We didn't do this all in-house. We brought in a consultant, Simon Kucher Partners, to help us look at the data that we had from this data warehouse, and then also go out and talk to clients about what they value. So they looked at the data, said, and identified who our clients are, why they buy, what they're buying, at what price levels are they buying, and in which order are they buying our products, because we offer a wide variety of products. And they did surveys of our clients, and they did surveys of us. And I want to show this example that I think is a really good example of inside-out thinking, and how if we would have made decisions based on what we thought clients wanted, we would have been in trouble. So they surveyed eVestment employees and said, what do you think your clients value out of eVestment? And they surveyed our clients and asked the same thing. What do you value in eVestment? And then we compared them, and it was a little shocking. So here on the left, we have what we thought, and on the right is what our clients actually said. And fortunately, we're aligned on one, and it's kind of the reason that we're in business, is to give them access to strategic competitor intelligence or market data. So that's good. We had kind of that base. When we get to the bottom, it gets a little squirrely. We did not have a flat fee for our licenses or our users. Clients, and we, I guess, thought that didn't matter to clients. They don't care. I don't know if we thought they didn't want to buy from us, but they said, no, it's really important that if I'm going to be growing with you, that you have a flat fee as we move forward. Ease of implementation. This one probably hits close to home in here. Apparently, we thought clients don't care about ease of implementation. And so we're fortunate to have kind of a very educated client base. We're serving the institutional investment space. We have CFAs, we have MBAs, we have PhDs, but they still don't know eVestment. So we needed to make sure that we were implementing them, or we were improving the ease of implementation regardless of their education level. And then simplicity and transparency of billing and pricing. We talk about how we change pricing. We've actually changed the way we invoice and bill. Recently, we implemented software called Zora to help us automate the billing and invoicing to our clients. So what we ended up with this consultant, when they looked at kind of who the segments are, the consultants, the investors, and the asset managers, what they buy, is we created packages of all the individual products we used to sell. And you're probably very familiar with this. We were really late to the game here, but it's the good, better, best, bestest versions. And it's targeted at those segments. So asset managers have the components of their packages are different than consultants and are different than investors because they care about things differently and in different orders. There was a trickle-down impact here too, is it became much easier to measure our health. We were talking to the Tatango team earlier this morning, and they looked appalled when I said we have about 80 health profiles because we have a ton of products we sell, and we have profiles for each of these segments. And so there's kind of this exponential increase in complexity about how we measure health. Now, our asset managers use packages designed towards them only. There is no need to create a profile for how consultants and investors would use this because they don't. Consultants and investors have their own line of packages, and we can measure health that way. So it became much easier to define success and measure it. I want to talk about, so we did not launch a new product here. We took what we were selling, and we aligned it with who's buying and why they want to buy it. We increased sales in 1 year by 40% in our 17th year of business. From 2016 to 2017, we increased sales by 40%. We didn't launch a single product. We were going back to the same clients saying, we understand who you are and we understand what you value, and we listened to you, and we have a solution. So the 40%, that's a a great impact, right? Everyone's happy about that. But we've also, doing all these things, increased our retention by 3%. We have a very high retention rate to begin with. A 3% improvement here is huge for us. We look at growth of our user base as a key metric of how we're doing as a business. In our 17th year of business, we grew our user base by 25%. And we managed to do all these things while improving the client experience. Our Net Promoter Score, which was high to begin with, increased by 20%. And I don't know if it's a chicken or the egg thing, which one happens first, but clients were more satisfied and they understand that we listened to them and we made changes based on what they were saying. And we ended up growing relationships with them. We've also ended up with a client success team. We're kind of getting out of the standard account management terminology to a formal client success team, the head of which is here today, the team is working on defined health models to understand what clients define as success, not just how often are they using the platform, but what are their use cases, what are their success drivers. Let them self-identify, and then we can measure based on that. And we know who we're selling to. We have clear segmentation of our client base. And we have standard use cases about why they're buying from us. And we've seen across every metric that we can measure that they're more successful. So when we go back to where we are on this maturity model from the book, you might think we're way to the right. We think we're barely into the transformation stage. What we think we've made are incremental improvements, the low-hanging fruit. Yes, they might have been large in terms of effort, but they were low in terms of identifying. We're just now getting into really transforming the client experience, and now as part of this much larger organization of NASDAQ. And I can tell you that the timing could not have been better because we knew that there was going to be some sort of exit in 2017, so this had to happen. And we did it all without launching anything new, just knowing who we're selling to, why they're buying, and aligning with what we're doing with that. So with that, I do want to open it up to questions. If you're shy and you don't want to ask, feel free to catch up afterwards. I've got 3 colleagues here also who were instrumental in making this happen, so we'd love to talk to you as well. But thank you. Are there any questions? The Tatango implementation probably took a few months, and we collect usage data in our platform through a proprietary system. We actually have a product that we sell to our clients about how our system is being used. So we're using that data and pushing it into Tatango. So the implementation was probably a little bit more complicated than a standard one, but I'd say 3 months.
So I just wanted to ask when the implementation was. Did you do that before you were acquired by NASDAQ?
Yeah, so it was while this was going on. So it was May of last year. And so the buying process had started, but the deal closed in October. So we knew something was going on, but that didn't impact the fact that we knew we had to do this. Getting the data into a single repository, that data warehouse, played a huge role in the acquisition. My colleague Dan there headed up the data room. All of the inquiries that these buyers were asking us, he was pulling the data from this data warehouse. It wouldn't have been possible without that.
You said that you've moved from account management to customer success managers. What did that process look like, and now how is the sales and customer success team, how do they collaborate?
Yeah, so the process, we pulled mostly from internal people. So our former account managers did not necessarily become client success managers. But the idea was that it was a reactive to a proactive approach, working across all the things that we just went through. And sorry, what was the second part of your question?
So how do they
There
interact?
are growing pains, to be honest with you, because this is new. And so the salespeople are very territorial about their accounts. And so we have to prove that we can be successful and communicate those successes so we can get buy-in.
So now that you have NPS increased, are you guys doing a transactional survey maybe to see with all these changes and impact, anything else you guys either are doing right or improving on as well, or are you just doing it yearly?
So we implemented transactional surveys around our support requests. So something very new. So we use Salesforce as our support technology, and across every product in all of our support cases, there's a follow-up email about did we kind of solve your solution or solve your problem, and how was the experience? And we've seen similar results there. That's actually the Net Promoter Score survey. Yeah, so it's something we do quarterly. Yep, and we survey users once a year. We've been doing it for 3 years now, so we can look at individuals and how their experience has tracked. But yeah, we do it quarterly.
Hello. My company, we have account managers and CSM as well. And what happens is even the CSMs have the ownership to have a relationship. Sales, they are also territorial, as you said, and they step in, and sometimes we step in each other's toes.
Mm-hmm.
If my manager or my leadership of the company was here, they are not. What would be the suggestion that you would have for them?
So my suggestion would be to have very formal strategic account plans that the salesperson and the success manager have created, and they both are in agreement about, along with the client, about what the future for this client looks like and the tactics that each are going to bring. So one thing we look at is we've historically sold to the centers of excellence at our clients, and our salespeople have very good relationships with them. They've never really broadened those relationships. So it's very easy now that we have a success team to tell them, hey, go in and just expand the relationship. Go into all these different groups, meet new people, and identify potential there. Show them how they can be leveraging investment. And that's not necessarily stepping on sales' toes, but they don't always agree with that. But again, we'll prove that with the successes.
Any more questions, guys?
The data intensiveness. So I won't name the other ones we looked at, but everyone knows the other ones we looked at. And we're a data company. Our flagship product is called Analytics. We're data nerds, and we thought Tatango was the best fit for that, just the granularity of what we could do with it.
No more questions? All right.
Great, thank you.
Thank you, Rich.